Bitcoin has seen an explosive move to 105,000. Will Bitcoin continue toward the upside? What are our next targets? How is the altcoin market cap developing? And what are the key levels you should be paying attention to? Let's go ahead and jump on in. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. In today's video, we are taking a look at the recent explosive breakout of 102 to 105,000, discussing the macro and short-term implications of this move, potential next targets, whether or not we are going to see short-term pullbacks, and even the impact this has had on the altcoin market. Before we get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos of Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, and the relevant economic news. And if you are interested in taking your trading to the next level, you can join us in VIP, where we post trading setups with exact entry prices, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. You'll also get access to all of our group chats, our general chat, our trading chart and education chat, our daily video, our help, and our news chat. You can check that out by clicking the pinned comment in the free channel, by clicking my name, or these two links for more information. Again, join over 700 members with a trading track record of 50 plus months and a 10-minute video showing you inside the channel itself via those two links. Check it out and let's dive on in. So as we can see, over the past 24 hours, not much happened for Bitcoin, but in the last 2 hours, we have seen a breakout of that $102,000 critical short-term resistance, resulting in an explosive rally to 105,000, a brand new all-time high. This move happened very rapidly and occurred upon the breakout of that 4-hour RSI downtrend when momentum flipped positive. As we have been saying over the past week and a half, we were saying while Bitcoin remains above the 99K support and the 4-hour uptrend, this uptrend in diagonal trend line, the most likely scenario was that Bitcoin will move to a brand new all-time high. We said that if Bitcoin was able to sustain above 102, it is expected we will see a rally into a new all-time high after. As we saw this move toward the new all-time high, again, historically, we have very little price action in this region. We've come up to retest our buy-side liquidity, but this entire region here has very little price action. Again, it is historically untapped. It is uncharted territory. It is price discovery. So upon the breakout of 102,000, we entered this low historical resistance range, and in these low historical resistance ranges, generally the market books are spread a little thin as orders start to cluster around psychological levels or historical levels of significance. But with that clustering going on, it leaves these gaps in the market books open for mass amounts of volatility. And that's why we saw upon the breakout of 102, we saw this large volatility push the price action up around 2% in about an hour, which is a large move for Bitcoin. We're going to be taking a look at where Bitcoin's going next, our next targets, and everything in the analysis today. But moving over to the market data, 24-hour volume up 14%, 174 billion. Liquidations up 2.4%, 231 million. Of the 231 million, 103 million coming from longs, 127 million coming from shorts. So we do see some indecision there for the market. But overall, in the last hour, the majority of those short positions, 39 million of the 129 million, came in the last hour, showing that we've seen that large move toward the upside. Moving over to the DXY acting relatively as expected. While we remain above this, or should I say below this major resistance, we are eventually expecting corrections for the DXY into our macro lows here around that 100 to 101 region. Now this will take many months to play out, so this is our current macro directional bias for the DXY, provided these prior highs do not get broken. So again, we have got our high, we are looking for higher lows to begin to develop here for these macro continuations back toward the downside. If at any point the weekly candle is able to break back above these weak highs over here, we would then expect continuations, and this downward expectation would become invalid. So at the moment, we are expecting downward continuations provided these highs do not get reclaimed. Moving over to the S&P 500, the S&P 500 is moving relatively as expected. I would like to add before we get into this, we do have the interest rate data coming out in less than 3 days. The current expectation for the interest rates is going to be a reduction by 25 basis points. A probability of that is around 96%, with a 4% probability of a potential interest rate hold. Now, we do know the macro implications of multiple consecutive or continuous interest rate reductions is that we eventually see the cost of debt decrease, which facilitates spending in the economy, which pushes inflation up, which decreases the dollar, which results in asset prices rising against the dollar, and that is good for our risk asset market. Now, if it happens too quickly or the economy is not in a position that can facilitate this, this can lead to other negative side effects, such as recessions. However, at the moment, what we are seeing is essentially the beginning of this pivot for interest rates, the beginning of the interest rates starting to move down. This would now be, I think, our third reduction if it does occur, and we're already seeing how the markets are responding to that. So the S&P 500 is looking pretty decent. If you have been following the channel, we have been bullish on the S&P 500 ever since around May 2023. As we can see, we have established our prior high at this price point of around $6,000. We have now retested this on the weekly. So ideally, this weekly candle turns green and we continue higher. However, if the weekly candle drops below $6,030, that could be a sign of a shorter term correction incoming over the month of December and January for the S&P 500. Now, for the S&P 500 to turn bearish, we would need to drop all the way back down and lose the 5,600 level. Only a loss of this level would turn the S&P 500 bearish on the macro chart. Until then, expectations are higher. That is it for the broader market. Let's get into the analysis. Before we do, go ahead and sign up to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX. Those are one of the 3 exchanges down below. You can sign up to any of them. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%, which can build up to 45%. Most importantly, you'll support yourself in your trading journey and support me making this content. And additionally, we have a Christmas giveaway celebrating our 3rd year for Christmas, our 3rd Christmas on YouTube over here. You can go ahead and enter that. It's a $3,000 giveaway. And all you need to do to enter is simply sign up to any of the links down below, and you'll be automatically entered based on your user identification number automatically. So check that out, guys. Join up, and we'll catch you in the video in just a moment after a quick ad. If you are looking for a new exchange or just want to support the channel, sign up to BitUnix with the link down below. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%, which can build up to 45% based on your trading volume, as well as access to a bonus reward center, and of course, all of the exclusive campaigns we run on this exchange. You'll also get access to BitUnix being a non-KYC exchange, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the globe without regulations. And most importantly, I only promote exchanges I trust and I use. As you can see, I trade on BitUnix very regularly, being the highest VIP level with over $500 million in trading volume for the last 30 days. And lastly, if you were interested in signing up to our other 2 exchanges, BingX or BitGet, you can also do that via the links down below. You as well will get the 15% trading fee discount and everything else that comes with it. Go ahead and sign up. Thank you for supporting. Let's jump back in. Okay, legends, let's go ahead and get stuck into it. So we are starting on Bitcoin, talking about the recent breakout, talking about why it's happened, talking about the key levels, and importantly, our next targets. So as we can see, Bitcoin has had a fantastic breakout. As we mentioned, we have seen a brand new all-time high, just shy of 106,000, around 105.4 thousand, I believe. And we can currently see Bitcoin is still pushing upwards on that short term, pushing past that prior buy side liquidity, breaking that structure, and that level is sitting at around 104.5. So what we can see over here is a multitude of things. The most important thing we are watching is going to be that RSI downtrend. As we can see on the 4-hour chart, we have had a positive momentum shift On that 4-hour chart, that downtrend on the RSI is a representation of the momentum for the general direction of the momentum for the price action in this visible range. And what we can see is over the last 4 to 5 hours, we have seen that RSI break toward the upside. We have seen a positive momentum shift. Now, with that positive momentum shift, we saw a break of the $102,000 level, and we have now seen a continuation into a brand new all-time high for Bitcoin. This is a fantastic sign for the price action. And again, while we remain above that 102 and that 99K level, we are expecting continuations. So let's talk about what has changed, what is the same, and what we are watching out for. So first and foremost, the trend is your friend until it ends. While we remain above this 4-hour diagonal uptrend, this is a representation of the trend for the price action. Whilst we remain above this level, we are bullish for Bitcoin. We are expecting continuations higher. We are expecting moves to new all-time highs, even past today's all-time high. Upon the breakdown of this trend line, when it occurs, and it's a matter of when, not if, when it occurs, we will then see corrections into our prior levels of support, where our 99K, our 94K, our 90K, our 89, and our 86 level all of these levels act as critical reversal points. We have now been in about a month and a bit of upward accumulation. All of these prior support levels, which have been established during this accumulation, every single one of them act as critical level of support, with the most important two being now the 102,000, because this level was a prior resistance, now it is a support upon the breakout, and the 86,000, which is the structural low, the low of the current range. So provided we remain above 86,000, Bitcoin is macro bullish. Provided we remain above the 4-hour diagonal uptrend, it is unlikely Bitcoin is going to even retest these levels on the short term. And while we remain above 102,000, particularly with the recent positive momentum shift, we are expecting continuations into even newer all-time highs for Bitcoin. Now, we did a video about 2 years ago, and we did maybe 1 or 2 more video updates about that video throughout the last year, which gave our price targets for Bitcoin in the macro. And we did a mathematical equation, which is essentially taking the supply of Bitcoin, looking at a perceived potential top based on total market cap, dividing that by this, the Bitcoin dominance expectation to give us a number. And the number it gave us was a low 96, a mid 121, and a high 156K. So those are our potential targets of Bitcoin. We've already reached 96,000. Maybe we're moving to 121,000 next as a potential target. And we are looking towards that while the uptrend holds. As we mentioned for the S&P 500, and as we remain for Bitcoin, we are trading based on the invalidation method. So we don't have particular number targets in mind. We are looking more so at when will the trend turn bearish? And I want to remain bullish while that trend remains bullish. The moment it drops down, we will be looking to flip our bias. And at the moment, that is going to be that uptrend. So while this uptrend remains bullish, we are expecting continuations. If we drop below the uptrend, we expect corrections, knowing that every single one of these levels could be reversal points, and we are watching for absorption and exhaustion to occur at those points to indicate bullish reversals. And only upon the loss of 86,000 would we see the macro integrity of this trend actually start to crack. That is when we could actually start to think about us turning bearish on Bitcoin. But until then, the price action is very bullish. So let's talk about this recent breakout, guys. It's on hourly. As we can see, this 1 hour candle, what should I say? This 1 hour chart, we have seen a fantastic break of the 102. We have not come back down to retest this level yet. In fact, we've just seen a fantastic move toward the upside. This level, as we mentioned, is a critical area of support. If we were to retest it, we are watching for reversals to develop. And again, if we do drop below this level, we could then see breaks and continuations back into our prior levels of support. But again, overall, 4 hours looking good, hours looking good, continuations higher are very expected. Our targets for Bitcoin, as we mentioned a few weeks ago, was 106.5 to that $108,000 region upon the breakout of 102. So we haven't quite reached the target we expected upon the break of 102. We are very close, but we are expecting maybe one more squeeze upwards before we then see a reversal back down to maybe retest that $102,000 region. Again, we are in price discovery now, so we have absolutely no historical data to go off. And as you know, TA uses historical data. So we have to make educated assumptions to where the price action is going, but most importantly, we need to analyze how the price action is responding and reacting on the short-term chart in real time to get an understanding of what is likely to occur next. So looking at this higher time frame validation points and our trigger points, bullish on the 4-hour RSI breakout, fantastic. 102,000 broken out, fantastic. This level is now going to be a reversal and a potential area of support. While the uptrend holds, fantastic. All arrows are pointing for higher prices, provided this 102,000 level is able to sustain. That is that, guys. Let's move over to the other charts. Moving over to Bitcoin Dominance, we can see Bitcoin Dominance is showing some warning signs here. Now, I've said in one of my prior videos, we would not like to see the weekly candle on Bitcoin Dominance close above this horizontal level. Now, as you can see, we didn't close above the horizontal level. We've come in very close, right? This horizontal level, we literally closed in like, 0.2% below it, which is okay. But we would not like to see this current weekly candle close out green. Ideally, with Bitcoin pushing to a new all-time high, we still see that rotation of money occur to altcoins. They still get the lion's share. So if Bitcoin going to a new all-time today, it is expected we see some money flush into Bitcoin. That is normal. But through the rest of the week, we would ideally like to see some of that money move back into altcoins, and we would like to see Bitcoin Dominance continue this downtrend that it started upon the breakout of this major uptrend. As we mentioned, we are not in a volatile downtrend. This is not a strong downtrend. In fact, this is essentially what we would consider the start of a downtrend for Bitcoin, for the Bitcoin Dominance chart. So this downtrend has many, many potential months to go, but it is starting. We definitely do not want to see invalidate it while it is beginning. So we're watching Bitcoin Dominance closely. Moving over to the total is still looking very good. This is going to be our total market cap here. And as you can see, the total is pushing yet again into high points. We saw this major weekly correction in our prior week where everyone started panicking. We saw altcoins flush 20-30%. Everyone was freaking out. Is this the end? The reality is, guys, and as we mentioned, it is absolutely normal to see these weekly corrections in these bull runs. The price action cannot go up forever. Profit taking needs to occur. Funding rates need to reset, and with that, we need to see flushes occur in the markets. We have to see these corrections, right? We saw in our prior cycle, three scenarios where these 1 to 2 week long, 20 to 30% pullbacks for the total market cap. We saw about an 18% pullback, and everyone started panicking. As we mentioned, not every red candle is bearish, not every green candle is bullish. We have to look at the structural integrity of the trend and understand that while our trigger points remain, while our supports remain intact, it doesn't matter if it comes down if those levels are able to sustain. If the demand is still there, these pullbacks are considered bullish. These are healthy corrections. So we saw that correction, and now we are seeing the total almost push, and it is currently pushing into a brand new all-time high as we speak, and we are expecting continuations higher provided this high holds. If this high does not hold, if we drop back below this high, that is it. That's over. We're expecting corrections again. But for now, we are expecting continuations higher. Moving over to the altcoin market. The altcoin market is looking very similar to the total. The total bounced back a lot quicker, and that is expected because we did see Bitcoin Dominance bounce back upwards. The total is looking a little weaker. Over the last 2 weeks, altcoins have been slightly underperforming on a general basis to Bitcoin. Now, there are some altcoins that have been overperforming, but there always is, right? There's always altcoins under and overperforming, but on a general basis, we've seen Bitcoin Dominance go up, and we're seeing the total market cap recover better than we're seeing the total 3 market cap here recover. For the total 3 to continue upwards, for altcoins to see that next leg upwards, we really need to see a break of that 2021 high, which is sitting at 1.13 trillion. A break of 1.13 trillion, we then see the next leg up for altcoins. But again, guys, on the macro scale, you can't let short-term volatility flush you out of your positions if your time horizon is the macro, because the macro charts for altcoins are still looking very, very good. In fact, if we take a look at our prior cycle and we take a look at the current cycle, the exact validation points we look for in the prior cycle to confirm that we are in an altcoin season, we have seen all three of those again. So there is no historical data here to suggest we are not going to see an altcoin season. In fact, this is actually going to be this is actually week 5, the start of week 5 of the altcoin season. So in terms of altcoin season lengths, we are probably about 1/3, a little bit less than 1/3 of the way through the altcoin season. So if things are supposed to pick up, things would likely start to pick up quite aggressively when that $1.13 trillion level breaks. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a fantastic day. We'll catch you in the video tomorrow. See you then.